If you know anything about me, you know I'm just a regular fashionista. So I know you see this nice, beautiful shirt I got on. I brought that from the Straight from the Hip store with Teespring. Guys, go on down there, check it out. We are finally selling merchandise. We got shirts, tank tops, the whole 9 yards. Heck, we even got BlackMan pillows, BlackMan socks. You gonna go to the beach this weekend? Take a BlackMan towel with you. Please, look at this adorable face. You think she will lie to you? She's telling you, look how comfortable she looks in that picture. But please check out our merch store, support us, join us, become part of the Straight from the Hip crew and nation. We're building something great here, and now you can get beautiful shirts to show us that you're part of the crew. And I can't wait to be at the beach with my BlackMan towel.
With that being said, we do want to start off with our first topic today. So let's start off, I think we talked about it just right before we came on with what's going on with all these college coaches. The last week or so, we've gotten a number of college coaches who have stepped in it. Of course, we talked a little bit, not a little bit, we did talk last week about the Iowa strength coach. And what had gone on with that. But now we have a few others. My least favorite coach over here, Coach Clemson, Dabo Sweeney. So if anyone didn't hear, they had a march on the University of Clemson campus. He had a Football Matters shirt instead of a Black Lives Matter shirt. So it was not in good taste. Coach, I'll start with you on this, and then we'll go to Jason, then we'll open it up for anyone that's got a question or comment on it. So,
well, I think the big story to me is it's alarming how many stories are just starting to come out now. And so that just lets you know how many African-American players have been just putting up with stuff because they felt like they had to. And I mean, I know, you might get excited about it being Dabo or whatever the case may be. I'm just appalled that it's anybody. Right. I'm at the end of the day because I just, and I'm waiting to see what actions are going to be taken, especially in some of these cases of assistant coaches. I saw that Iowa finally parted ways with their strength coach, because more and more people are just starting to come out with stuff. I know they felt like, okay, there's no way we can keep this guy. We got to part ways with him. And I don't understand why that doesn't happen sooner. When you get these reports and you're like, dude, did you say this or did you ever write this tweet or whatever? Well, you got to go. I know there was a defensive coordinator, I think, at Utah who they said same thing. I mean, what's scary about him is he actually sent a text message, I understand, to a player. How stupid are you to send a text message to a player that has the N-word in it or whatever? I mean, that's just ridiculous. Mm-hmm. To me, he should have been, once you saw the text message, he got to go. I mean, there ain't nothing to talk about. I understand as far as Dabo, and I know that Dabo's kind of complex, and Jason and I briefly kind of talked about this earlier, because the coach that he had supposedly just repeated what somebody said using the N-word, saying, we don't call people by saying, N-word, whatever, and basically repeated what that guy said. So, and I don't know where I am with this whole Dabo thing. I need to get into it a little bit more but like I told Jason, at the end of the day, I think Dabo's a good old boy from Alabama, born and raised, and let the chips fall where they may. There might be some times when Dabo has some insensitivity about some things due to the way that he was raised and his background or whatever. So, with that being said, I'm going to turn it over to Jason.
Yeah, no, it's interesting. I was kind of torn on the Dabo thing, because he is a devout Christian and he wears that on his, he wears that very openly and very proudly. So I did call a buddy of mine and asked him about the Dabo situation, and he felt that, I guess, Shannon Sharp had blew it up a little bit more, and he was the one that let me know that, I guess, Dabo was speaking at the changing of the name for the building, and he kind of made comments about, being more racially sensitive and X, Y, and Z. So for me, with the Dabo thing, it hits a lot of nerves. Okay, so there's a lot of like white evangelicals that Dr. King tried to get to help him with his movement, and a lot of them turned them down and didn't want any part of it. That's 50 years ago. I'm not saying Dabo was in this, but it is a history of white Christian men in the South not being very socially conscious when it comes to race, even though they say they love the Lord and they love to follow Jesus. So for me with Dabo, I'm more concerned that, did you speak at this meeting because you got a lot of heat and realized this is good PR, or do you really feel the way you feel? Because Dabo for the longest time had a rule where none of his players could be involved in protests and social activism. But now you're doing it, and now you're okay with it. But all of a sudden, it's okay when you're under heat for all of this. So it just, for me, where's the intention? Was the intention to smooth things over, or do you really feel like you need to speak to make change? And I don't know. And I'm trying to give him the benefit of the doubt because he's a Christian. But like I said before, we have a history in this country of white Southern Christians not giving a damn about race and being fine with it. And then would Dabo feel the same way if these black bodies weren't helping them win these games?
Of course. And, I'm sure everyone here knows I am a South Carolina fan, so I'm just taking a little bit of a jab on this. I know for my dislike of Dabo, I know he's a good guy. I do find it interesting, like you said, with the Honors College, they have changed the name, the university has, and then like you said, with Clemson, the university themselves, will they change the name? I doubt it because of the history on that. I would like to say one thing, that my head coach, Will Muschamp, and our players, we had our own protests a week ago. I would like to just say we were a little bit ahead of the curve on this than Clemson. So just, little.
And for those that don't know what he said about Clemson's history and past, Clemson was built on a plantation, and the owner of the plantation donated the land to Clemson to start. Basically, the slave labor is what pretty much built Clemson. So When he's saying, like, will they change the name or do something with it? Well, you changed the Honors College name because he was a slave owner and a racist. Clemson basically was run by the same, or started by the same kind of gentleman. So that's what Travis is referring to. Will they do anything about that if they're really about it? So.
Well, Travis said y'all could hurry up and do that because y'all don't really have anybody in the pros anyway. They had to wait for DeAndre Hopkins and all the pros that they got and that came from Clemson to actually be there for the ceremony. That's why y'all could act so quickly, because y'all ain't got nobody in the pro.
I vaguely remember Stephon Gilmore, who's the #1 cornerback in the NFL right now. It went to the University of South Carolina.
Yeah, he's overrated.
Oh, he's overrated. Okay. Now that he's from South Carolina, he's overrated.
Yeah, he's been overrated before that.
Oh, and I do believe that Super Bowl champion Alshon Jeffrey went to the University of South Carolina, but he's overrated too, I'm sure.
Yeah, he's terrible.
In the Super Bowl.
I didn't even know he was still in the league.
Oh, okay.